the Power Panel pick for the most valuable player this season. Head to Seattle, where he and the Packers are 5.5-point underdogs. The last time these two teams met, the Hail Mary happened for the Packers. You remember that? The Packers the Packers look as if they could win their division, but tonight is a very tough ask for them to get a win in CenturyLink Field. So, Skip Bayless, you first. Who wins the game?
Stephen A. Smith, your Green Bay Packers, and more specifically, that bad man that is Aaron Rodgers, will find themselves and himself wrong place, wrong time tonight at CenturyLink. I think by the end of tonight's game, Aaron Rodgers will feel like he's just pretty bad. And as you know, and I'm about to remind you, for visiting teams, no matter how good they might be, and I think Green Bay's pretty good, night games in Seattle can be nightmares. See last year, San Francisco and New Orleans on night games during the regular season. See San Francisco 2 years ago, 42-13 at Seattle that they lost. I've said all preseason, I don't think Seattle's defense will be quite as dominating without a Chris Clemens on one end and Rhett Bryant on the other end in their veteran leadership.
Right.
But I still think it's going to be the best defense in the National Football League. And especially with Earl Thomas, who is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, roaming in that secondary, making plays all over the field. And what did you tell me happened to you at the ESPYs?
Oh, yeah.
They rolled up on Legion come up behind you?
Yeah.
When Cam Chancellor up, did he put a little forearm up to your head and say, I'm here?
He likes me.
Oh, he likes it.
There's no reason
for now.
for him to be that way with me. He's always like, man, I ain't got nothing to say about Cam Chancellor.
Cam, you're great.
I'm not trying to get hurt.
Okay. Now, here's the punchline to my argument. Seattle's offense will be, I think, significantly better than it was last year. Percy Harvin is back, and I think he will stay back this time, and he is my pick for Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay.
And Russell Wilson through the preseason, I'm going to say it one last time, he's special. He's playing at a Peyton-esque level with almost completing 80% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he ran for 3 touchdowns in the preseason. So now we're back to, can Green Bay stop Russell Wilson? That unit ranked tied for 24th in points allowed last year. And you're here to tell me that Julius Peppers is going to change life in Green Bay at age 34? I don't think so. Are you here to tell me that their first-round pick, Clinton Dix, is going to change secondary life in Green Bay? I don't think, not yet, not tonight. So now we all know, as we heard, that rookie Corey Linsley will have to start at center, protecting A-Rod's front side.
Right.
And that offensive line's a little patchwork for Green Bay right now. So I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is going to go down 8 times in the first half the way he did in 2012. But I think he's in for a long, rough night. I think A-Rod will feel like he's C or D Rod by the end of the night.
Oh, boy.
Because it's going to be a rough one. And I think you know it. I think you feel it. You said 5.5-point favorites. I think Seattle wins going away, 31-13.
Wow.
I respectfully disagree with you. I don't blame you for making that pick. I'm not going to sit there and mess with you too much about it. They're in Seattle. It's the opener for the season. Obviously, they're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. It's the first time they're playing in front of their home crowd for a regular season game in the aftermath of all of that. They are going to be hyped. They're going to be psyched. They're going to be fired up. There is no doubt about it that Green Bay has its work cut out for them. But if there's anybody that can handle it, is the bad man that he is, and Aaron Rodgers, who I believe to be the best quarterback in football. He's just simply that gifted. Clearly the most gifted quarterback in football. Nobody's going to deny that outside of the person sitting across from me who remains nameless. In the end, what it comes down to is simply this. What it comes down to is this. It is, I will acknowledge to you that game 1 is not indicative of how this entire season will go for Green Bay, but I don't see them winning tonight either. I don't see them getting blown out, however. I do consider it to be a dogfight, but I'm more along the lines
You're saying dogfight?
I'm more along the lines of 27-20. I'm thinking Seattle's going to score 27. I think they could put up 27 points. I'm incredibly impressed with what I'm seeing from Russell Wilson. You got Doug Baldwin. You got Percy Harvin. We saw Percy Harvin, the minimal amount of games that he played last year. We saw what he did in the Super Bowl. He makes a difference on special teams. He makes a difference when he touches the ball because of his speed. You drafted a rookie in Paul Richardson who is considered to have, Percy Harvin type speed. Okay? Yep. So when I look at it from that perspective, and then I see dude in beast mode named Marshawn Lynch, I'm just saying to myself, I expect the defense to be who they are, but I also expect Seattle's defense to be better. Here's why I think it's still going to be closer than what you give it credit for, however. I do believe that Clinton Dix will make a difference because they got nothing from the free safety position in Green Bay last year. It was atrocious. That's why he was picked 21st overall. You got to expect that Clay Matthews and those boys are going to be ready to some degree. Their defense over the last couple of years have been relatively awful, yet and still Green Bay has been in every game. Why? Because of the bad man himself, Aaron Rodgers. Then when you combine that with the fact that even though your offensive line is suspect, and I do have my concerns, it was suspect last year, it was suspect the year before that, and you didn't have a running game. Now you have a running game in Eddie Lacy, okay? You also still have James Starks. What I love about Eddie Lacy, Skip Bayless, is something I haven't heard you nor anybody else bring up, and that is this. Usually when you see an elite running back in this game, they don't have an elite quarterback. You look at LaShawn McCoy was an aberration because Nick Foles really played well last year, but that was clearly an aberration. When you look at AP, I ponder what he had to work with, and I don't need to go any further than that. You look at some of the other elite runners in Jamal Charles in Kansas City. Yeah, Alex Smith showed up last year, played relatively well, but we all looked at him as a game manager. You just rarely see a team that has a top 5 running back with a top 3
How do you explain
quarterback.
That?
With a top 3 quarterback. I can't explain it, but I will tell you this. Eddie Lacy, based on his talent, there are people that looked at him and felt that he was, before the draft, that he was a better talent than Mark Ingram or Trent Richardson out of Alabama, and he proved that last year. You remember, we got a concussion the first game, the first play of this, a week 2 against Washington. It wasn't the same since, still rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's healthy now, unless he gets a concussion tonight, which is possible. We know that against the Legion of Boom. I'm going to assume that's not going to happen. I expect Eddie Lacy to make some noise. The combination of Eddie Lacy, knowing that Aaron Rodgers, knowing that he's got an Eddie Lacy with the Starks behind him, okay? Plus, you've got Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. Jordy Nelson, new contract. Randall Cobb playing for one. I like their chances to make this very interesting. I still think they're going to lose because I think too much is up against them, but I do not believe it's going to be a 31-13 blowout. I think it's going to come down to a play or two in the fourth quarter. In the end, the Legion of Boom will respond. They will hold down the fort, and they will save week 1, the opening of the NFL season for the Seahawks. The Seahawks will win tonight 27-20.
27-20.
It sounded to me like you're making a strong case for 31-13.
No.
And then at the last second you said, but it's going to be a dogfight.
No, I said Aaron Rodgers, running game, Nelson, Cobb, and the bad man
Wait, but time out. He just made a really good point. It's rare that you see a quarterback running back combination that's top tier. You asked him to explain that. Can you explain that?
I told you why Aaron Rodgers will not win MVP, because I have so much respect for Eddie Lacy, and so does that team and that staff. So Eddie Lacy's going to get the football a whole lot and take it out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. A lot of people back to my Dallas days. Was Emmitt Smith not the best running back in football? Well, Troy Aikman was pretty good, but look at Troy Aikman's numbers. They're pretty pedestrian because he didn't get to throw it very much.
Yeah, but I don't look at Mike McCarthy as somebody that's going to run Eddie Lacy like that, especially in this concussion-filled era in the NFL. I don't see that happening, number one. And number two, I'm assuming that Aaron Rodgers is going to make big plays. You may not throw 40 times. You may only throw 30 times, but it still doesn't mean you're not going to pass for over 350 yards a game. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
Okay.
I expect big plays.
I expect 31-13.
I expect 27-20.
Next.
Listen, Chuck just sent me a note, you guys. I thought I'd share this with you. Our managing editor, Chuck, he said, everyone's keeping an eye on penalties this season and how they will be officiated. John Perry is the referee for tonight's Packers-Seahawks game. Perry's crew caught the 5th most penalties in 2013. So let's see if that affects the outcome or perhaps the flow of one game. Chuck, I'm giving you a shout out. Thanks for that.
Why didn't he send me the note?
Well, because you don't have a computer. This is for me.
Well, not only that, you're not the moderator.
Yeah.
What you going to do, read the news?
I would like to. I want to be the moderator just one day.
Here you go.
Go ahead.
Give it to him. Give it to him.
Division breakdown.